How about that for church night in Norman?
All right, guys, we've got head coach Jennie
Sorry.
Baranczyk and freshman Aaliyah Chavez. We will go ahead and straight into questions.
Jennie, what did you just think of Aaliyah's night tonight? 33 points. It felt like she kept you guys steady in big moments.
Yeah, she really did. And especially when we really needed it, I think in the first half when it wasn't necessarily going our way, I think she created a lot. And then obviously down the stretch to be able to have her put the ball where we felt like it needed to go. And she made some big shots sometimes trying to get it obviously to Reagan. But there were a couple moments in the game that we had together that she was worried about things, and I told her I didn't care. And she responded really well. I think what's really neat is in that kind of game, I'm learning how to coach her. And when you're in those moments and she's coming over and we're trying to strategize, and I think as the game went on, I think I got harder on her and harder on her and harder on her, which is probably opposite than what I was thinking I would do with her. But she responds and she stays focused and she keeps her team going, and her focus is exactly where it needs to be. It's not, it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with the jersey that she gets to wear and the people she gets to play with. And that to me was really impressive in a game like this today.
Jennie, you guys trail most of this game. Your team's perseverance, especially.
Are you saying perseverance equals missed layups? Because we had a lot of those.
Well, yeah, you also came through with 4 minutes to go, and you got rebounds, and you played better defense in the 4 minutes in overtime.
Yeah. And they're good. They're really good. And I know that they've lost some games. They're finding their way too, and that's kind of how we are too. But, obviously Pierre makes them really, really good. But, Brooks and Joe, those are two really, really, really good guards. And obviously, there were moments I thought we did some good things. And then you look at a stat sheet and you're like, not that good, right? But no, I think you're right. I think we did have to persevere. The thing that I also appreciate about having, both Aaliyah and Zaya as freshmen and sophomores, having to have the ball in their hands and to be able to put it in different places, you can panic in a game like that, and you can panic when it's going back and forth and it's physical, and I thought it was called great. I thought it was a really physical game, all directions. And we have to learn. That was the most physical game she's probably ever played in her whole life, and that's as close to the SEC as we've seen so far. So I think that was really good for us. But I feel like the way that they handled and were steady even through all that, I thought was pretty impressive. Did you feel like that was probably the most physical game that you've played in?
Yeah, probably.
Or close to?
Close
like
to. It's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
High school refs weren't the best for me.
Let's leave that out. Let's not post that one.
Aaliyah, going off what Jennie said off the top, just what's maybe been working for you over the past week, and do you feel like the game's maybe slowing down for you?
No, I definitely think the game's slowing down, but it's really my teammates. They've been on my side through the whole time, through my bad games, through my good games. And one I'm going to shout out, is Sahara. Even when I miss, if I make it, she's always telling me, shoot the next one. Shoot this. You got this. And during that game, I feel like me and Sahara had a moment where I was calming her down sometimes and she was calming me down. So she's a huge part of our success, and so is everybody else, because even, we have great leaders on our team. And me coming in as a freshman, yes, I can talk on the court, but the upperclassmen, they know how to calm us down and making sure that we're focused in the play in that moment, not worried about what's going to happen if we do go into overtime. They were focused in that moment, and that's how we stayed focused.
Leah, what does it do for you? Jennie has talked about learning how to coach you plenty of times this year. What does it do for you and your style of play with the way she coaches you?
No, yeah, I would agree that she got tougher on me throughout the game, but
I don't care.
I know. I know. But I feel like that's how I want to be coached. My dad has been my coach my whole life, and if anyone knows my dad, he's hard on me. He's going to yell at me, he's going to do all this. And I feel like me and Jennie had those moments where she had to yell at me, and then there was moments where she needed to calm me down. And I feel like we both, if you see me, it's when I go over there to Jennie, we talk every single time over there, and she's either calming me down or she's making sure that I'm ready for the next play. So, she's amazing. Great coach, great person to be around, and it's she's really calmed me down that game for sure.
Aaliyah, Tyler Luca from No Cap Space. I'm intrigued. Obviously, you've been on big stages before throughout high school and on things like that, but this crowd was crazy tonight.
No,
And
yeah.
You mentioned the leaders on this team, and they were trusting you with the ball
Yeah.
in these big moments, in this big game. How did you kind of, collect yourself in those moments and be ready for that and accept that responsibility from these guys on the team?
I just went off of their energy. I mean, they gave me the ball, even like Peyton, she gave me the ball. She's a great player, and she gave me the ball at the end of the shot clock, when we were in overtime while we were up to manage the clock. So just seeing that they trust me so much, I took all that energy and brought it to, I need to make the right play. I need to at least try to make the right play. So just seeing how much they trust me, that's what kind of calmed me down and making sure I was ready for that moment.
Jennie, obviously struggled from distance there in the first half. Limited the number of attempts there in the second half. Was that a concerted effort? And just, what would you feel like the biggest difference was offensively to be able to execute the way y'all did?
We talked about this game being a battle of twos anyway on both ends, and obviously they talked about the same thing because they got in the paint just as much as we got in the paint. But we needed Reagan to be really assertive. That's what we needed, and we needed to rebound the ball a lot better. We needed to get the hustle plays. They kicked our tail on the boards, and that's something that if we cannot figure that out, it's going to be a long season. If we figure it out, we could be pretty darn good. But I think that was probably 2 days ago the message, yesterday the message, halftime the message. So that was something that we knew coming into this game that was something that we were going to have to do, and we knew this was going to be a physical game. You can't just live and die by a three. And also, they got back. That's what gets really frustrating about rebounding, because it was a couple people.
How much does winning a game like this provide validation, confidence
Yeah.
toward where you guys want to go?
Well, putting ourselves in those kind of end-of-game situations where you have to get stops, and those last, 2 whatever seconds felt like 15 minutes, where it was like 3 or 4 different possessions where you have to get a stop when the score's tied. Those kinds of things you can practice as much as you want to practice, but it's not the same as the real thing. And so that kind of stuff I think is really good for us, to have to go into overtime, to have to recover from missing a shot, to have to recover from missing a box out or fouling or whatever else. Those things are real life experiences, and those experiences are best teachers. So I think we will come back to this game a lot. I think we will reference this point a lot. I think this is going to be something that our team, and I know that our team discussed this, I think without me at halftime, that they were going to go one way or the other. So it'll be interesting to see where we really go after this.
Jennie, the last 2.5 minutes or so of the fourth quarter, you guys were locked in on the defensive end and carried over into overtime. What do you feel like changed for you guys?
I think they decided they really wanted it. And when you decide that you really want something and you have a group that really wants something, you usually get it. And when you can stay really convicted, it's amazing that you can box out in minute 42, but you can't box out in minute 1. And that's something that we have to learn how to do to be a great team, right? And so that's something that I really think that they locked in. I thought their connection was different on the floor. I thought our timeouts, we were really locked in. We didn't worry about the outcome of the game. We didn't worry about, okay, we're going to win or we're going to lose or the shot goes in or that. We didn't. It was just what was happening. You have a team that can do that, especially when 2 of them are a freshman and sophomore. That's a pretty big deal. So that, to me, is a sign for some really, really good things to come.
And you mentioned that you guys talked about how this was going to be a game of twos. It really seemed like you were trying to force that issue late in the fourth and all of overtime. I think it was 20-something points in the last few minutes of the fourth and then all of overtime in the paint. It seemed like you guys were really trying to force that issue there. What do you feel like was the difference between specifically late in the game, late in the fourth and overtime, and the rest of the game?
We have Reagan Beers, and we got to use her, and she's got to demand it. And I think there's a balance of that, because when she does that, guess what's going to open up for everybody? The three. There's a lot of things that are going to open up for a lot of different people if we can do that. And so I think that's also, being able to put pressure. We're going to continue to get in really good shape. I would have liked to have had a little bit more from our bench today. I think we kind of came in and we were a little bit more rocked than I was hoping, and obviously Kaya Smith got in foul trouble, so that wasn't helpful. But that's what they've been doing. They've been providing a lot of that in terms of pace and being able to, convert defense to offense. And today I think Aaliyah did a great job of pushing the tempo. I thought Zaya did at the end of the game. We either needed to push the tempo or we needed to pound it inside. And we weren't able to push the tempo, so we needed to pound it inside.
Aaliyah, for you, going back to what Jennie said a couple answers ago about the late defense, what do you feel like you learned defensively from this game and this team learned?
I feel like we just stay connected on our defense, especially like when we were trying to get it to overtime. Like we were talking after our timeouts, during our timeouts. Like we just stayed connected, and we know exactly. Like we wanted to win this. I feel like that's what I learned. Just stay connected with my teammates throughout all of it.
And what were those last few seconds of regulation like? With like Jennie said, it seemed like it lasted.
It did. Yeah, it definitely did. But I feel like, especially like the people that were guarding when the ball came in, like they stepped up big for us and tying the ball and even getting a tip from out of bounds. Like they stepped up big.
Leah, how difficult was it, especially late in the game, to make the entry pass? I know Sahara has always posted up hard since the first day she got here. Reagan certainly is a great poster. But you've got to throw the ball at a certain angle, I'm guessing. I don't know. So how difficult was it to get the ball in the ball?
I feel like just going off of our practices, we have great practice players that help us each and every day, and they make it hard on us when I'm trying to throw it into Reagan, when I'm trying to throw it in Sahara. So I think that prepared me for these moments. And Sahara, Reagan, even Peyton, when they want the ball, I'm going to give it to them, and you're going to know when they want the ball for sure, because they're going to, if I don't see their chest, I'm not going to give it to them the ball. But, for Reagan, she knew that she wanted the ball over, and I trusted her to catch my passes.
Jennie, for you, really since the day that Sahara has gotten here, she's been, I feel like, increasingly in responsibility, and tonight was both offensively that we saw her involved, but also defensively, obviously, on Camille Pierre for a lot of this game. What did you see from her tonight? And because to me, this was one of her most responsible games in that manner. How have you kind of seen her grow tonight in her performance specifically?
Yeah, well, it's not always easy to say, okay, you're going to guard Pierre, now you're going to go guard Brooks, now you're going to go guard Jones, now you're going to go back to Pierre, right? And so, we just kept putting her on. They are all hot, and clearly, I just told her on the radio, I was like, well, you didn't do that great because they all scored, but honestly, I think her intensity and her, we've always seen that she has it. She has the it factor. She's competitive. She's tenacious, and her skill is coming, right? So, and you can constantly see that her skill is getting better. And she had the ball at the end of the game there, and she had an opportunity, and she's going to get better for it. She'll be the first one that's in the gym tomorrow, probably with you tomorrow, when you're like, okay, here's a shot here or there that a lot of them would like to have back, right? And so, but that again, that's what makes you better. If it was easy, everybody would do it. That's why this is hard and why game situations are so different than even when you practice game situations. So for her, I think if we can get to a point where we let her play how she wants to play, and she has to stop carrying the rest of us, because she carries all of us in terms of our emotions, and she carries all of us in terms of making sure everybody's doing the right things. She is at her best when she doesn't have to do that, and she can elevate our level. Then it doesn't feel like she's carrying so much. I feel like she was able to make that shift really probably in the end of the third quarter, maybe fourth quarter, where you could just see her come alive, and you could see her step up and knock her free throws down. In the first half, it was like she was a little bit tight. But I think that's also where she feels like she's got to help you, and then she's got to help somebody else, and then she's got to help somebody else. When she doesn't have to do that, and she just plays, and she plays with that kind of passion, man, we just elevate.
Cool. Anything else, guys?
You guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.